He's a multi-talent. We're very fortunate to have him here with us this evening. Please join me in welcoming Paul Reiser.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Hello. Look at this beautiful room. Welcome. What a treat. What an honor to be here, saluting the great work of SFJAZZ, and to honor my friend Don Was. I'm just going to tell you a brief story about how I came to meet Don for two reasons. One, it's the coolest thing that ever happened to me. But also, I think it really helps illustrate who Don is as a person and as an artist. Okay, so 1992, before some of you were born, Mad About You had not premiered. Oh, look how young, for God's sake, Jesus Christ. Look what my kids have done to me. So, September 92, the show was just about to air. We're like a week or 10 days off and from premiering. And young Helen Hunt and I were flying from LA to New York to go and do some promotion. And we're at the airport, and we go into the nice fancy lounge. And there's a guy I see sitting, just this sort of hippie freak guy, who like dreads and that crazy hat and flip-flops. And you know, historically, as far in my experience, when you see a Jewish guy with a cowboy hat, it's not good. Something's, it's just going to go wrong. So he was sitting there, and I said to Helen, let's sit there. And Helen said, oh, that's Don. And she goes over and says they knew each other, and they had mutual friends. And she brought me over. She says, oh, Paul, this is my friend Paul. This is Don Was. I went, you're Don Was? Oh, I love Don. I love Don Was. I'm a big fan of Was Not Was and Bonnie Raitt album. I love Don. I didn't know that's what you looked like. Okay. I had a whole other image in my mind. So we got to talking, and we said, oh, we have the show. It's premiering in a week. He said, oh, do you have like a theme song that you like? I said, well, we have one, but I don't, it's not great. He said, well, why don't we write one? I said, well, I'd be honored, but it's like going on in like 10 days. He said, yeah, we'll do it, we can do it. I said, well, but I'm only in New York tomorrow, and then we go back home. He said, well, we can do it tonight. I said, what's wrong with this guy? He doesn't understand. That's not how this business works. You don't keep saying yes. And I said, well, we have a thing tonight. It would have to be late. Yeah, 11:30. Come, I'm recording in the studio, and come at 11:30, and we'll write something. I went, okay, I don't know what I just stepped into, but so I go to the studio, and he's finishing up. He goes, you know Felix Cavallari? I went, all right, I don't know what universe I'm in now. I'm meeting Felix Cavallari. And he said, you have any ideas? And I said, well, I think it should have like I don't know, all I know is like the beginning should be like a little samba, bum, 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 bum. So he goes, all right, let me record that. And he plays that on the back of his guitar. He said, then what about the music? I said, well, just, you know, like simple chords, you know, like, it's just like, and he says, what if you slide it? Like, what if you do this? I said, that's much better than what that's going to be very, very good, what you just suggested. And that became the most recognizable theme of the whole thing. And so we recorded it, and I just, you know, we had these simple chords, and he's recording, and he said, do you have any words? I said, no, but I think it kind of goes like, dabba-doo, dabba-dabba-hey. He goes, well, why don't you record that? I go, are you out of your fucking mind? What? No, that's silly. He said, no, it's fine. And so I recorded me, and I've never sang outside of the shower, ever. And so I did the whole song of me doing scabba-doo, habba-dabba-wee. He said, well, who do you think should sing it? I said, I don't know, like, you know, ideally, Lyle Lovett would be great. He said, well, I know Lyle, let me send it to Lyle. I go, no, that? You're gonna, no. He shouldn't have to hear me scat. So he sent it to Lyle, who to this day said, you know, I shouldn't have passed on that, probably shouldn't have passed. At the time, his quote was, I don't do television. I went, me neither. So that was that. We had the tape, and then he said, okay, when you go home tomorrow, write some words. I went, okay. So I'm on the plane, and I wrote some words, and the next 2 days later, we're in LA, and I go to the studio, and Don has assembled like the top-notch musicians, like Bonnie Raitt's band and Lyle Lovett's backup singers, and Andrew Gold. I went, Andrew Gold? I love Andrew. So he does this thing. He said, why don't you go in there and just play it through so the band knows the changes? I went, yeah. So I go and I play it, and the band, and it's pretty simple, and the band, they're great, and they catch on. I said, all right, we have it. We can try one. And Don said, that's okay, I got it. And what do you mean you got it? He goes, yeah, I just recorded that. I went, yeah, but that was just practice. He goes, no, that's perfect. I went, I don't think this guy knows what the hell he's doing. That's not how this works. Well, cut to, he had it, and it was great, and it became somewhat of a hit, and much more, it became a big thing in my life. For years, so many people have come over and said that song became their wedding song, which I didn't picture that. And then the coolest thing, we got a call, NASA used it. They put an unmanned rover on Mars, and they had to wake it up, and their wake up, because the song was called The Final Frontier, so that was their wake-up call on Mars. So it wasn't the biggest hit on Earth, but on the other planets, it's quite significant. One of the most popular tunes on the planet of Mars. So I took away so much from that, not only with this wonderful, fun experience, but I learned from Don, like, that's how you should try to be. Just keep saying yes. Just do it. And don't say no, and don't be scared of your own inhibitions. And so for that, I am ever grateful, Don. I am grateful for your friendship, and I love you, and I salute you, and congratulations on this well-deserved award. Thank you all. Enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, Terence Blanchard here. Thanks for watching this video. If you dug it, be sure to give it a like or leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got lots more videos coming out soon. Last note, if you want to watch some amazing concerts filmed at our venue, head over to our website and check out SF Jazz at Home. Thanks for your support, and stay tuned.